Welcome back, and thanks for stopping by the channel and subscribing. That little red button there, just subscribe. And today we're going to talk about high school days. Did you have a high school day? I did. I had high school days, and we're going to talk about that right now. Modena High School is located in the city of Orange. You know that school? Well, it was time to graduate. I was a senior and I had just a couple days left. We literally had like hundreds of bikers, mostly motocrossers at the school. Like I mentioned in my earlier blogs, there's lots of riding areas and people got good at motorcycles in those days. And they rode all over the place. So we had lots of bikers. And we had a tradition at Elmo. Do you remember that tradition? Riding the motorcycles at the last day of school. We would raid the school, bother the teachers, sometimes in the hallways. Everything was crazy. It was just a couple days before the end of high school, the senior class. And the principal came on the intercom during the morning announcements and said, anyone riding motorcycles the last day of school will not graduate from school. My friends told me not to ride the last day, and I said, no way, I'm gonna ride. How can that principal catch me? I have a fire-breathing speedway bike. Zero to 60 in 2 seconds, no brakes. It's impossible that anyone can catch me, so I will graduate. And I said, I'm gonna go do that. And all the other motorcycle riders did also, the motocrossers. And we met at nutrition the last day of school. The big day arrived and I wore my speedway motorcycle uniform. I taped my name so that nobody would see who I was, because nobody knew me. I think everyone knew me. I had a pitman, Steve Savek. He went with me. We put the motorcycle in my race van, and I had a friend, Roy Navarro. He was at the high school baseball field with this Super 8mm camera going to film me. We had it all planned and lined up. And it was 10:15, I believe, when nutrition break came. And I drove my van in the back of Modena, Fred Kelly Stadium. Where the football stadium is, and I turned around. Back in those days you could do that, but now I think you can't do that. It's blocked. And we had the bike all kind of prepared and waiting, and we slid the door open, got the bike out, and I was waiting for the bikers to come through. So the bikers come through, I told Steve, let's bump start this baby, let's go. So we bump started the bike, and by the time I got out to the baseball field, the bikers were there jumping, and then they left real fast. I think they stayed like 30 seconds, and they were scared of the principal, but I wasn't scared at all. So I thought, God, these guys, they were here and gone so fast. I have the baseball field all alone. There's like 1,000 students at Elmo watching. This is pretty cool. I can go ahead and really put on a show. So I went ahead and put on a show. I did wheelies and was burning out the grass and was riding all over. And I went by the students at the nutrition area. I did wheelies, and right when I was doing the wheelie, my bike stalled out. I was going slow doing the wheelie. And I turned around, and there was like the vice principal. He was running after me. This kind of younger 35-year-old principal, this vice principal, was running, and he was gonna get his target, his prey. And I was like, oh God. And so I went ahead and pushed the bike by myself, and I push started it, and I was trying, and it wouldn't start. And the guy's getting closer and closer, and he's gonna grab me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I went ahead, and just as he's ready to grab my neck, the bike started. And as he was lunging for me, the bike took off, and he fell on his face. He had these hard top shoes, and he just fell right on his face, and all the students were laughing at this guy. It was really funny, and I just missed it by like that much, and I got away. I proceeded out to the baseball field where I was sliding on the infield. I was doing like slides, and the people were loving it, and I was there like 10 minutes or so. The school was starting, the class was starting, and I said, oh, I gotta go back to school. So I finished, and everyone was cheering for me. I rode back to the van waiting for me behind Fred Kelly Stadium. We raced back home. I threw my clothes off, my uniform, put my clothes on, and we put the bike in the garage real fast, and we drove back to El Modena for like third or fourth period and Mr. Grinshaw's history class. And I was sitting there, and everybody was looking at me like, you were just out in the field and now you're like an innocent sweet angel in Mr. Grimshaw's history class. A few minutes later, the messenger came in with a pink slip, and it said, Brian, this is for you. And I said, what is it for? And they said, the principal wants to see you. And I said, oh my gosh. So I went to the principal's office and I sat down, and the principal said, sit down, young man, I need to talk to you. And I sat down in the principal's office. This was only like 10 minutes later. And before I could say anything, he started yapping at me. He said, I know you did it. Don't deny it, young man. Everybody saw you riding the motorcycle in the field, and you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. And we know you did it. So just admit it. Did you do that? We know you did it. And I said, yes, sir. It was me. I did that. Okay. What's up? And he said, well, do you know that you won't graduate now because you got caught and you're in trouble now and no graduation for you? And I said, no, that's not true. And he said, why do you say that? And I said, I didn't get caught. You didn't catch me. I came in and told you I did it. That's not getting caught. You know that's true. And he said, that's true. He said, I said, well, you didn't get caught. And I said, no, I'm graduating, right? And he goes, yeah, I guess you're graduating. He said, you did not get caught. And I said, yeah. And he says, I like you. And I said, why do you like me? And he said, because you tell the truth. And I said, of course I tell the truth. I didn't get caught, and I'm telling you the truth. And he goes, I like it. I was just, okay, you graduate and you're gonna have a good life. And he said, you're a good guy. And he shook my hand and he said, like I say, have a great life. And he said goodbye for the final time. Well, that's it. The motorcycle story. The last days at El Modena, and I graduated. I just loved entertaining people on the motorcycle. Even to this day, I ride motorcycles, and if I have a bike that does wheelies, I do wheelies. And they always say, one more wheelie, one more wheelie. I just love entertaining people on the motorcycle. And it's always been a fun thing of me my whole life. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell.